No, it's all your fault. Tuesday, January 20th, 2026, and I call this meeting of the Board of Education to order. Cindy, would you please lead us in a roll call vote?
Arlandu,
Here.
Garrels,
Here.
Gonzalez Thomas,
Present.
Kilberg,
Present.
Meadows,
Present.
Sliger,
Present.
Swisicki,
Present.
We will now do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tom, are there any items to add or remove from the agenda?
We have just one item, our celebrations. Unfortunately, the student from GMS and family could not make it tonight, so we'll have them come back next month.
Awesome, thank you. However, it's just you guys today. So, this evening, we are celebrating and recognizing the Batavia Special Education Parent Network. We have Leanne Rodriguez and Nicole Smith here to tell us about the Batavia Special Education Parent Network Resource Fair.
Yes.
Welcome. Please
Yes.
tell us a little bit about it.
I will, okay. Thank you for having us. I'm Leanne Rodriguez. I'm a speech pathologist at the Alice Gustafson Early Childhood, and this is Nicole Smith. She is a wonderful parent volunteer, co-chair, along with Ashley Murtaugh, who wasn't able to be with us here this evening. But also we have Carrie Rue, who's very supportive and a part of our bigger team. I mean, Holly is so great about helping us and promoting us. So there's many people help BSPN be successful. So I just wanted to let you know, we just thank them greatly for that. But I've been the co-chair along with all of the wonderful volunteers that we have since it originated in 2012. It's just a network and a support for families so we can organize things that would bring them together, that they could network with each other, learn about resources from each other, maybe about how the district and what the district can provide, but also from each other about what the community can have to them at their access. And they teach us all the time about new things that are popping up. So at every event, we end up hearing about something new. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we end up learning about new things. So it's really kind of a great event, whether it is a parent education night, a social event, or the resource fair that we'll be talking about. At the start of the school year, we always kick it off by inviting families to our annual meet and greet of the BPS Special Education Director team. With Mrs. Rue, Carrie Rue, but also all of the administrators we tend to do it at Pell Joey's because they're so gracious at having us there for that great event. It's a great way to kick off the school year. The families really enjoy coming and talking with us, but also talking with each other, so it's a very informal night. So we kick off that usually in September, so that was very successful this year. BSPN also hosts usually an annual parent education opportunity. We have one coming up in a couple weeks here at RJAC on the 29th. We'll be discussing the overview of the transition process. Both Brian Lindbergh, how do we say his name? Lindstrom. Brian Lindstrom will be here talking about our BSPN, BS 101's process about the transition process, but also inviting one of the many agencies, but we're inviting the Parent Alliance Employment Project, PAEP, to come, and they'll talk about opportunities that they help families in terms of connecting with their older adult and having them, doing some job coaching and those types of services that they can offer. So it'll kind of be a nice event for families to see what opportunities might be beyond 101. So that's coming up. One of the other things we plan are some social events. We have one coming up on Thursday. We're going bowling at Funway. We did this last year. The families really appreciated us having events, but that siblings can come to. So they were really happy that they could bring their siblings, and we got to bowl and be together. And so we're offering that again this Thursday from 5:30 to 6:30. And Funway's been a wonderful partner. They've invited us to come and help us organize and have it be the best situation for our families in terms of us having our own lanes and those kinds of things. So that's been great. And then we also just did a sensory skate. This year, in working with Funway last spring on the bowling, they thought about maybe expanding an opportunity for families to do a sensory skate once a month on their own. So they are doing a sensory skate once a month. I think it's a Tuesday night, once a month. You could check with their website. But, so we partnered with them, and then we invited our families to come on a Tuesday night. And we had families there, and again, they were very appreciative. Siblings were there. They got to have the whole place to themselves, and it was great. So we hope to do more of that with Funway. But our biggest event is our annual Batavia Special Education Parent Network BSPN Resource Fair that we offer coming up in February. It is going to be February the 19th at the Batavia High School in the cafeteria. Cafeteria? Yeah, for 6 to 7:30. You could tell my kids were here when it was a cafetorium back in the day. But since our first resource fair, we have really grown from 13 vendors to now over 55 plus. So we have really grown. Vendors reach out to us now, asking when we're having it. We have area districts and administrators, but also families that have heard of us offering this. So I think that information is getting out there, and people are wanting to come from all over the area. So it's free to our families, but also area surrounding districts and anyone that else would like to come and check it out. And really, the vendors offer some really great resources to families, and also like how to get access to them. Sometimes the families just don't know how to access what they need and how to go about doing that. So they take the time, the tables are filled with just a lot of talking and sharing. So it's a great evening. But we find that, from doing this year after year, I think our families do feel supported by each other, but also by the district, but also by the community. So we're happy to keep organizing that and having that for our families. So, anything else?
We're always looking for more volunteers.
We always are looking more volunteers. We are. We're a small little ship, but we keep going, right? But yeah, so that's going to be, again, February the 19th. So we hope if you can stop by, we really would appreciate that. We have a lot of volunteers also coming. We have BPAC coming to help families if they need some interpreting, and then we also have just a lot of faces you'll see from around the district popping in, so it's nice to see everyone supporting the BSPN, but also families that come that evening. So I think I've seen a lot of you come through too. And again, we just want to thank the district for supporting families in the Batavia Special Education Parent Network. We do have a website, so we encourage you to check out our website. Nicole Smith is great about updating the website with all the things that are coming up. We do have RSVP links on there for things we need RSVPs. And again, it's a rough number just to give Funway. It's a rough number just so we know how to set up a room. We will always take everyone. So if someone comes in late and says, can I come? We always, of course, have more space. But it does help us just to kind of know what we're planning for. And so the BPS Fair is also, like I said, open to everyone. So we want to see lots and lots of people, so please pass the word. So, yeah, so thank you.
Amazing. Holly, do we have anyone to address the board today?
We do not.
Okay, thank you. On to BPS Partners, BEA President Drew Ray.
Can we do walk-up music? Is that a thing? Can we request that?
Kind of tried to
Is
get there
there like
with
a
it, but it
formal
wasn't, yeah.
process
sorry.
fit? Beatbox? Tom, can you beatbox for me, or?
No, you.
I tried. Hi, everyone. It's been a while. Hope your 2026 is off to a good start. Before I forget, Cindy was kind enough. You should have flyers for the BEA Trivia Night in your folders. It's February 26th this year at the Moose. Round of applause for Leanne for all the organizing and everything she's done for the BEA. Yeah, 6:30, 8:30 at the Moose. All the proceeds benefit our BEA scholarship. We look forward to seeing everybody there. Just a couple. Oh, and get a table, and maybe the board could do a basket.
Oh,
Wow. Just laying that out
we
there.
say
I'm just making requests tonight. I'm just gonna keep going.
All right, guys, I think the challenge has been laid down.
Wouldn't that be a great idea, everyone? Yeah.
You don't want anything from me.
So just a couple things for you tonight. First, I always like to report back when the BEA and district administration are engaging in some good old-fashioned problem solving. Over the past 4 weeks, we've had a variety of discussions around our approach to professional learning and how we prioritize that learning as a district. With the abundance of curricular shifts, as well as the ongoing need to be responsive to our students and expectations from the state, there is a limited amount of time for this work to happen. Additionally, we don't want to overload and overwhelm our staff either. This challenge isn't going to go away anytime soon, and I'd like to thank the administration for their willingness to be flexible and creative as we continue to strive to meet those needs. Likewise, next week our EL staff will be meeting with district administrators to discuss what's going well with our EL programming across the district as well as areas for growth. The association is looking forward to these conversations and appreciates the shared commitment to supporting our EL staff and students. I loves me some good faith, future-focused problem solving, and I hope we can all continue to lean into that energy. With that in mind, although we are not formally starting until around this time next year, the Batavia Education Association has already begun the preparation process for collective bargaining. Negotiating a new contract is a great example of aligning our values with the structures that support educators and students. Speaking of which, I'd like to send positive vibes to our brothers and sisters in the Rockford Education Association. They've been working without a contract since the start of the school year and are advocating for fair wages, reasonable workloads, strong working conditions, and professional dignity. While the BEA and the REA are in different stages of bargaining, our goals are deeply aligned. And finally, if you'll indulge me for a moment, I'm a Bears fan, hell or high water. There were lots of emotions at the Ray household on Sunday night. It's been quite a wild ride this season. But so this past Friday, I was dropping off some paperwork for our building reps across the district, and I was over at Louise White. As I was walking out, there was, I think it was a fourth grade class, and they were walking to PE. And a student yells from across the cafeteria, we call it the cafeteria, right? Not the cafetorium, right? Yells across the cafeteria, I like your shirt! And I was wearing my Caleb Williams number 18 jersey. So I did what any adult would do, and I turned around and just went, "Go Bears!" And about 10 to 12 kids in response also screamed much louder than I did, "Go Bears!" And I share that with you because communal excitement and communal commitment towards a common goal, whether it's for our beloved Bears, our beloved Bulldogs, or our beloved school community, that's a hell of a thing. So I'll leave you with the immortal words of Coach Ben Johnson. Good, better, best, never let it rest until your good gets better and your better gets best. That's a mindset I think that every school district, including ours, should probably always strive for, and I hope you agree with that. Solidarity forever with BESPA and our union siblings in Minnesota. Peace, love, and Bulldogs. Good night and good luck.
All right, student ambassadors. Kaya and Grace. Welcome back.
Yes, we missed you guys. Happy
Missed
New Year.
you.
Long time no see. Okay, here's us. Our first thing for sports, we're also covering from back in December because it's been a second. We had finals. Mine went well. How'd your finals go?
Great.
So yeah, all things are good. Last semester of high school. That's crazy. But we're glad to be back. For sports, a lot of things have happened, especially for celebration, like wrapping up different seasons. Wrestling had their senior night. That was really sweet. Everyone was taking their pictures. Celebrating a great year. Our girls wrestling especially, I know, has been like super successful and it's been growing at like rapid rates over the last couple of years. So that's really great to see. Boys basketball placed 4th in conference, 11-7. So go them, go Bulldogs. The cheer team placed 4th place with a record high score. So that was really wonderful. All of our sports are great. And then dance team had their conference and they placed 4th. And then they have another competition on Sunday at Huntley. That's our sports updates. Okay, so this one has some interesting pictures because there's not been like too much, especially with like finals coming up. So we scavenged as many pictures as we could get. Incoming freshman night, that was to help all the different 8th graders kind of get to see the different clubs. That's always a huge success, and it's great to see like all the new littles that are trying to find their clubs and their interests, and they're just going to flourish over the next couple of years because Batavia does such a good job supporting all of our interests and our futures, and however far we want to go, we can do that here. So that's like a picture off to the right center. We have some students sitting down. They were talking about Key Club. I love Key Club. Then we had Right for Rights with Amnesty. That was actually today. So that's a really big project that Amnesty does every year where they write to, like with certain issues, they write to different prominent leaders around the world kind of just to advocate. And it's a really fun thing that we're able to be a part of. So that was today. Pictures should be on Instagram soon. But we did the best with what we had because I was there. So that's the picture we're getting today. Then for Youth and Government, in December, they had another legislative pre-session to go over bills. Everything's going great there. We have some pictures dropped in. The group is really big this year, and they have a wide, different spread of issues that they're working on, so we're proud of them. The Grow Up had their annual Single Moms Drive. That's on the left top. We packed bags with self-care items for single moms in the community, brought that to United Way, again, a great service project. NHS had their snowman showdown with the food drive to give to the food pantry. So students were able to get involved with the community there too. They went door to door passing out different notes. It was just really great to see everybody getting together to help with a pretty prominent issue. And then we got to watch our teachers run around the school in snowman costumes. So always a win for us. And then the Duquesne Conference, they had a chess tournament on January 10th. And then there were a lot of different Duquesne Art Conference winners. So we can see that on the TV back there. But our arts program is great. I thought it was there earlier, but we always have good art. There's art behind you. All looks nice. They start us early. But that's our club updates.
Okay, and music and drama. In December last month, there was Festival of Carols, which is the top 2 choirs and some orchestra students, and they just get to play. Some of the drama program juniors and seniors get to go to Theater Fest, and some of our improv team members made it into all-state improv, which was amazing. Swing Singers competition season is starting next month. Actually, it starts on Valentine's Day, so it's a little bit sad, but the winter show for improv is right there. You can see my beautiful face with my tongue out. Government Inspector is the winter show. It's actually next week. Everyone should come. It's going to be hilarious. And there's a jazz concert happening right now. It's all city.
All City, yeah.
All city. I was going to say all state. All city. So the middle school is there as well. And then RMS, I did not find very much. Their musical is February 20th, I believe. It's Legally Blonde. They're also at All City Jazz. They had their NJHS induction last week. It was really cute. And their wrestling and basketball seasons are actually going really well, I think. Okay. So we did a new thing this month. We sent, actually, Dr. Smith sent out a form for us to the students and asked them, which one of your staff members would you like to shout out and, why, what do they teach, etc. And we did it by grade level. And we have little things that, yeah. So for the freshmen said, Miss Castro is amazing, interactive with her classes, understands her students, very entertaining and fun to be around.
Then for the sophomores, they had Mr. Kaufman. They said, Mr. Kaufman is a really funny teacher and is good at explaining concepts. I actually look forward to chemistry every day because he makes the class interesting.
The junior said, Ms. Jersa makes the class so fun and creates an environment where writing was not just improved, but also enjoyed.
And then the seniors said, Mr. Van Clay is always there for his students and stays positive even when times are hard. He makes class enjoyable and cultivates a positive environment every day. BVK has done a really great job of getting students excited about music and also done a great job with scheduling things to make all activities work out. He's an awesome teacher and all-around great guy who deserves recognition.
You'll notice he has a nickname. It's BVK. It's because his name is Brian Van Clay. CO, Chris Owen. He's the other band teacher.
Nice
Everyone
little
loves him.
nicknames.
And then people from each grade level shouted out our nurse Rose. They said, Rose goes above and beyond because whenever I go to her office for anything, she remembers who I am. I went into the nurse's office last year during first semester, and I hadn't seen her since the previous school year, but she remembered who I was. I'm comfortable with her because of her character, and recently I've heard many peers talk about how sweet she is. She gives each student who comes into her office her full attention and treats them respectfully to try and help however she can. And we love her so much.
She's so sweet. Actually, all these teachers are wonderful. I've had most of them, and I don't know, they make such a positive classroom environment that's exciting to go to class every day. So yeah, that's what we have for that. And then just looking ahead at the weather app, it's going to be really, really chilly on Friday. And I know Yeah, I know we brought it up
Slipping
last
this in.
year. Just wanted to bring that conversation to light again with the snow days. Wanted to put it out there. I know there's been some discussion back and forth between staff and students about it being cold. Just wanted to put that in the air. We're the voice of the high school students, and they're saying it's going to be cold. So just wanted to put that out there. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Throw that out there and then run.
Appreciate the moxie there.
Speaking
All right.
We're all suspended.
Yeah, right. All right, consent agenda. According to our board policy, we designate a portion of the action items of the agenda as consent agenda. For those items that usually do not require extensive discussion before board action, these items generally are routine, recurring, and can be grouped together for efficiency. Brad, it's you today.
Yeah, so stand in here. 5.1 and 5.2 are the approval of the December 16th regular meeting and closed session meeting minutes. 5.3 is the destruction of closed session recording as the time elapsed for keeping those has gone by. 5.4 is a small personnel report. 5.5 is our regular payroll and bills. 5.6 is the acceptance of donations, so a special thanks to the music buffs and Batavia Youth Athletics for their donations for uniforms and gear for our teams. 5.7 is the approval to renew the student photography contract with HR Imaging. And 5.8 is the approval of the consent agenda.
Does anyone have any questions or comments? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve all items in the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
So moved by Katie,
Second.
second by Aaron. Cindy, please lead us in a roll call vote.
Jasicki,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Gonzalez Thomas,
Yes.
Arlandu,
Yes.
Garrels,
Yes.
Meadows,
Yes.
Sliger,
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Reports, FOIA. Tom?
All of the FOIAs that we received have been processed and presented to you in the report. I don't know.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Okay. Treasury report. Tony?
The treasurer's report and its attachments are there for your review. Nothing out of the ordinary for this month to share.
Any questions for the nothing out of the ordinary? Okay. Thank you. Committee updates, Tom?
Yeah, so, we're in the midpoint of the year, committees are flowing, and I know board members have been able to attend, so I don't know if there's anything any of our board reps would like to share in particular, but as what we've been doing as our fairly recently, new practices, including our messages that go out, we've been putting that into the board book for the board, and just for transparency to anybody in the community. So, I don't know if anyone wanted to share.
I'll share one committee update that the Hall of Honor is still accepting applications for the Hall of Honor. We're accepting them as late as February 1st, and you can drop them off here, or you can go to hallofhonor@bataviafoundation.org to get an application. And we accept nominations for teachers, friends of the district, and I'm blanking on someone,
Graduates, alumni.
alumni. Well, they're all alumni, yeah.
Not necessarily.
Well, not all alumni, you're right.
Yeah.
So we encourage you. We have a lot of great nominations, but we're always looking for more, so there's still time to nominate someone.
Any others?
For RAC, we had a discussion, there was a discussion about a new subdivision that I think was supposed to be J.B. Nelson. They're currently being built. And because J.B. Nelson is the one elementary school that's kind of close to being full, a decision was made that we should change that to Hooverwood. It's within a mile and a half of Hooverwood, so that would make it walkable for any students that end up living in those homes.
Okay. All right, any others? Okay, thank you. All right, item 6.4, advanced placement and dual credit. Brad?
Yep, I'm going to invite Dr. Joanne Smith and Mr. Bob Dietz up to the podium. They're going to take it from here and give the board an update on our advanced placement and our dual credit programs. a little deeper dive than we've done before on this.
Hi, everyone. So one thing we always want to bring to the forefront is our post-secondary opportunities that we provide for our students. And a couple of them are advanced placement and dual credit. We have quite a few, but we wanted to give you some more information about AP and dual credit. So I'm going to hand it over to Bob for the AP part.
Sure, nothing out of the ordinary. We're done.
Nice. Nicely done.
All right.
Best presentation ever.
There we go. I tried. All right, so let's talk about one of the ways that our high school students can take college-level courses at the high school. Advanced Placement, or AP, is a program through the College Board. It's their curriculum, it's their courses taught by our teachers. So obviously, it is a college-level course, so there are some differences between the regular courses at the high school. The pacing may be a little quicker, the students may go more in depth into the content. There's a greater workload for these students. So it is, they will spend a semester in a AP course, and they will be exposed to the rigor of a college course. And then at the end of the semester, or at the end of May, they will take the AP exam and hopefully, through their scores, earn college credit. And we'll talk a little bit about that later. We're really proud of, we have over 20 AP courses at the high school. We have 19 AP teachers in the high school, so we're really proud about that. You will see some of them are in bold, and that just means that they are not only AP courses, but they're also dual credit, and we'll hear a little bit more about dual credit later. So here's the overall 5-year data, and I guess, 2025 rocked it. In 5 years, in every single category, it went up. We have more AP students taking classes. We have them taking more exams. We have more AP students receiving a 3 or plus, and we'll talk about that in a second, a score of 3 or more. And then this is a shocking one. We wanted to go back in the archives. I don't know if this is the highest it's ever been, but 85% of the overall students taking the AP test scored a 3 or higher. And the 3 or higher is kind of the sweet point. In Illinois, if students receive a 3 or higher, they automatically get the credits at a public university or community college. It differs from state to state and university to university, but 3 is the sweet spot for our students attending schools in Illinois. This is just a fancier, prettier, colorful version of what I just said. You can see the upward trend of those students receiving scores of 3 or better. There was a slight dip in 23. Not sure what happened there, but again, that 85% is a pretty huge number for us. This is a table of the number of students that, broken down by race, ethnicity, and grade level, who took the AP exams. And now I know when you start adding numbers and percentages, it can get kind of confusing, so I'm going to do my best. I'm not a math major like Dr. Smith, but sometimes it is better to look at the numbers, the raw data, to kind of look at some trends and some gaps where there may be. So you can see on the left-hand side, that's the category of the ethnicity, followed by the 4 grade levels, how many students from that group took those courses or took that exam. And the second to last column is the total students that were in that category. And so you can see that 22 Asian students took that AP exam out of the 442 or whatever it was. That 5% is out of that number, the total number of test takers in for the test that in May. Obviously, 12 Black or African American students took it. They represented 2.7 out of those 442 students. The far column is the percentage of the total population of the high school. So Black or African Americans make up 4.2% of the total population of the high school. So what we want to kind of look at, and what this kind of does for us, we look at the numbers and we try to make those percentages to be as close to possible as you can. Of course, we want every student to take every AP class that they can, but realistically, that's every student has a different goal after high school and has a different path, and so AP tests or AP courses may not be part of their future goals. So we would like that, but that's not, it won't be possible. But what we can do is we look at the percentages. We want to make sure that, say, for the Hispanic or Latino group, they make up 14.7% of the student population, but for the test takers, they only made up 8.1%. So that gap's the biggest right there. I think it's 6.6. So that is probably an area of growth where we have to look at too. So that's why you kind of have to look at the numbers sometimes to kind of look deeper into the data. If you were part of, if you saw any social media, you know that the cohort, the students that just graduated, the 2025 graduates, they were on the AP School Honor Roll, and they had the silver designation. 50% of those students who just graduated took at least one AP exam in the 4 years that they were there at the high school. 39% of those students received a 3 or higher on the AP test, and 12%, and I don't even know if this is a high number, but 12% took 5 or more in the 4 years. So that's great. So, I mean, that's just kudos to, the hard work of our students, our AP teachers, and preparing them for that test and allowing them to earn that credit, because that does save time and money for when they go to college. So those are all good things. And then lastly, just the key takeaways. Again, even though we have seen a decrease in enrollment over time, our numbers have increased with the enrollment in the AP courses, how many tests they're taking, and the number of students that are earning college credit. Obviously, that 85, we still keep talking about that, but that is great news. And then, always room for improvement and looking at things to make things better. We do have to look at working on closing that gap of our Hispanic students and allowing them opportunities to get into those AP classes and take the test. Because we know once you're in the class, they're successful in the class, and then they're successful on the test. So that just benefits them, for their future goals and plans. That's it.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, you're gonna cold call me? Okay, I love
We're gonna
it.
do a little cold call.
Yeah.
So if you sign up for an AP class at Batavia High School, are you required to take the AP test?
You do not have to take the AP
Okay.
test.
So some schools do that where if you sign up for an AP class, you have to take the test, so you're like automatically enrolled. Batavia's chosen not to do that because there's data that shows just getting kids to experience an AP class has a tremendous impact on their academic rigor and their ability to handle post-secondary work. The test is kind of that bonus piece, right? So we try and encourage students to take that test, to show what they know, to go after that 3 or higher, but we don't require them to do that. So you will see our total enrollment, our total test takers are very different numbers, because some kids, they're like, I'm gonna take this class, but I have no interest in that, or they know where they're going to school, and they know that they won't take that. That happens quite a lot. So they don't take that test. So we have a different system. Some neighboring districts down the river here have a very different system where it's a required part of that.
I have a quick question. How much does the test cost?
I believe last year was $105.
That's per test, correct?
Correct.
That's probably more than we
But we do.
The parents gotta pay for it, yeah.
Yeah, we try to run it even, so we have to obviously pay for, subs sometimes, and the test itself, I think the test itself is $90 from College Board. So we try to keep the payment, obviously, as small as possible for the parents, because we do know that is a concern at times.
Okay.
Can I just ask like a scenario, if a student is interested in taking an AP course, what kind of, is there some kind of process with like teachers that like guide them, like saying, hey, maybe right now is not a best time to take this course, or yes, we think you're ready to go into this course? Are we giving them that sort of guidance?
Yeah, I mean, I think with any course, whether it's AP honors or, dual credit, they have conversations with their counselors, and they look at their test scores from previous years and how they're doing in the courses that they're in right now, and kind of trying to guide them on what's best for them. My feeling is if a student wants to challenge themselves and take an AP course and be exposed to that rigor, that, I think the safety of being in the high school instead of experiencing that when you get to U of I or wherever you're at in college, I think that's a benefit to us, because we can kind of rein them in and help them a little bit more than, say, a college professor could. So, I mean, yeah, those conversations are happening regardless if it's an AP class or not. That guidance.
I think our teachers do a nice job of encouraging students, if they see someone who's done a really nice job in a class and they think they should challenge themselves more, whatever that path might be, our teachers do a really nice job of promoting them, telling them, you should take this class, you know, it's, sometimes they're a little bit hesitant because they hear that word AP or honors and they're a little scared, but the teachers do a nice job of saying, no, you can handle this, I know you can do it. And that usually is one of the best ways to get kids to take a tougher class.
I'm gonna jump on just while we're talking about AP, because you're gonna talk about dual credit.
I am.
Okay, so on the AP, one thing I'd like to point out is a bit of a commendation, and I will never say a word bad about the block schedule, so do not read this as that, but there is a little bit of a challenge with the AP, with the scores that you guys are getting, that is good, that there's a lot of classes that you might be doing in this fall, that exam isn't
Yeah.
for 3 months after the last of that class. So there are, like, my boys elected not to take the exam a couple times because there was that lag and they weren't doing a similar kind of class to kind of keep refreshed on it, so, you know.
Yeah, at one point, we did do a study of students in first semester classes versus second semester classes and their AP scores, and there was no difference.
It's amazing, because
I
even on
mean,
the
you
second
think-
semester, you're
it
not all
just-
the way through
yeah.
the class yet.
Right, it's just
You know, which
logical
is
that, yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and we try to combat that by running AP review sessions for students that may have taken the course first semester during second semester, so they can kind of get like a refresher with that.
And I'm only laughing today because my son told me it's his first day taking, because he's doing a music minor, his first day of music theory,
Oh,
and I was like, ta-da!
coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Can I ask a question about the slide that has the percentage by race? I was a little confused by this, so I reached out to Tom, and I think with the explanation, it makes more sense. But I was looking at it as, well, could you not take the number of, as an example, Hispanic students that took the test divided by the total number of Hispanic students in high school to get a percentage, and then compare those percentages, which Tom pointed out, like, well, this is looking more at who took the test. I think both could get at different information though, and I'm wondering if we have information about, so this is specifically who took the test. Do we have information about who took the class by race?
We do, I don't have it on the slide. but
Okay.
we look at it on a regular basis. Yeah. It's similar.
Just one other quick comment. Congratulations, by the way. I think these are phenomenal results, so keep
Thank you.
So the honor roll recognition that the College Board gives high schools incorporates, Kristen, I think to your point, when they look at who are being enrolled into these classes, it also takes a scan of what our students' demographic breakdowns look like in the building. And that's what helps, is one piece of the formula in providing that recognition. You know, if we had, like for us, we don't want to settle there, right? As Drew said, good, better, best. Good, better, best, right? That's what we're aiming for, is to continue to build on those numbers. But for us, that I think is also a marker, though, that our building has done a really good job of trying to promote that program and make that program feel for all students that, hey, this is something you might potentially be able to take and challenge yourself, but be successful at the same time, right? So it's good.
Yeah, and I believe if we operate under where we are forcing them to take the AP exam, obviously that 50% or whatever it was would go up, and could land you in the gold category, because it's the who takes the exam, what they score, and how many throughout their 4 years. That could land you up, but it's just a different philosophy at different schools.
Can I ask a question? If someone took the class and then they had a financial hardship and had a hard time paying for the exam, I'm assuming there's resources
Yes.
for them.
We've never turned anybody down. Are we ready for dual credit? All right. So the major difference between dual credit and AP is dual credit is in partnership with a local school. Most of our dual credit is in partnership with Wabansie Community College. For AP, in order to get the college credit, you must take the test and get a 3 or better. For dual credit, you have to take the course and pass the course. And so it's a little bit different. So you're getting that credit from Batavia High School teachers. Our Batavia High School teachers are accredited by usually Wabansie. We have one class on here that's through College of DuPage, but that's how they get certified to teach the dual credit class. So they we're in partnership with that university, so they get that university credit. As soon as students are enrolled in these courses, they start a transcript at Waubonsee Community College, for example, once they start taking these classes. So the courses in bold, like Bob mentioned, those are classes that are AP or dual credit, and we let students choose. So we let them choose if they want to do it for dual credit or for AP. There's a few of those, and those teachers are just dually certified, and so we let the students choose. Okay, so lots of benefits to dual credit. There's not many downsides to dual credit. College credit early, again, kind of that same idea as AP, where they're in our classes with our teachers, getting the support of a high school environment, but doing that college level coursework, getting that rigor, understanding what that looks like while they're still in high school. Early credits, I mean, some of these kids are leaving high school with 12, 15, 18 college credits. And it's not unusual at all for our kids to leave with that many credits. And then obviously cost savings, which I'll talk about in a minute here with some real numbers, but it is significant cost savings for our families. So here's an example. So it costs $36 at Batavia High School to take the first year Composition 1 class. That is a Waubonsee Community College class. That's 3 credits. So it's $12 a credit. For those of us who are paying college tuition right now, and both of us are, I can guarantee it's a lot more than $12 a credit hour that we're paying right now. And those are just some examples with Waubonsee, Northern, and Bradley, and kind of the cost comparisons for dual credit versus taking it there. So our total enrollment, this slide is a little deceiving. I want to explain that, but we did have a dip in total enrollment, so I want to let you guys know why that is. So first of all, just our student body has decreased over the last 3 or 4 years. AP enrollment has increased, so if kids are taking more AP, they're taking less dual credit. But number 3 is probably the biggest reason, and it's confusing, so I want to explain it. So in the past, in 2022 and before that, our first year composition class, which is our senior level Waubonsee English class, used to be 1 semester long, 6 credits. And so the kids were earning 6 credits. So it's like, if you can compare it to like a 101 and a 102 English class in college. After many years of doing that, we just were realizing that it wasn't working for our students, it wasn't working for our staff. It was putting 6 credit hours in 18 weeks. And when you're talking about writing and getting that writing cycle and getting feedback to students and having them fix and draft and revise, it wasn't working for us. And so we actually split those classes now. So if you are in first year Composition 1 at Batavia High School, that's a semester-long class and it's 3 credits. You also have the opportunity to take first year Composition 2 as a high school student and get 3 more credits. In the past, before 2022 and before that, you were in first year composition, so that was a double enrollment. So every kid in first year composition was basically counted twice. So that 1492 includes about 300 kids counted twice for first year composition, if that makes sense. So that's number 3 is the biggest reason why you'll see those dip in numbers, is just because we made that decision to help our kids become better writers. And then we are seeing, finally, I mean, we harp on this at every 8th grade orientation night, like not every kid has to take every honors AP class under the sun. And we are starting to see families and kids make some choices and balance, which is wonderful. We're starting to see some kids say, you know what, I don't need to take every class that's a weighted grade at the high school or a dual credit class at the high school because I want to be a competitive swimmer. You know, there's like other priorities, and it's nice to see that there are starting to find that balance a bit more. This is that same idea breakdown. We do get these numbers from Waubonsee Community College. And then our takeaways. So one gap we talked about quite a bit, and I talked about this with you guys at our school improvement planning, was our low-income students and the disparities we see there. Dual credit is one area where we're showing major improvements in closing that gap. And so for our low-income students, we are seeing an improvement and an increase in the number of them taking dual credit classes. Our African-American students have doubled in dual credit, which matches the district demographic. And then with our EL students, we have an opportunity there to try to help them get that level of support and that level of rigor at the same time. And And my last slide is just talking about what's the future. So just in AP, there are some AP Physics options there. It looks like next year we may have the opportunity to offer AP Physics 2 for the first time in a while. We have enough student requests there to potentially do that. With dual credit, we are looking at strengthening our relationship with College of DuPage, as well as our Waubonsee Community College. College DuPage offers more of those arts experiences for dual credit, like the culinary arts you see up there. So we're working on those. It's just a matter of getting our teachers certified at those schools and getting those credits lined up and the curriculum lined up. But there's some opportunities there for some future, more dual credit classes in the future. And I'm going to hand it over to Brad to talk about the Success Network.
Sure, the Success Network, Tom's work on the Aurora Education Commission has been great of finding partners who are doing really interesting work. And I know some board members are very interested in data. The Success Network has a great website, so if you Google it, they have some great dashboards up which show about post-secondary enrollments and these types of things all across the state. So I know Mr. Kilberg will ask me, like, how are other schools doing in this? There's a dashboard on the Success Network which will show you can drill down into any district within the state and look at their post-secondary work. It's just a valuable resource, and we would probably not have known about it without Tom's work on the Aurora Education Commission, and Edith at the Success Network is a great partner for us. So appreciate that, and it's a good source of data if the board wants to, or the community wants to dig a little bit deeper.
So I'll just make a comment. So I think this is just outstanding, like a shining star in our district. And I always use my anecdotal story of my daughter who probably was out of balance, and I think she did take every AP class against our advisement, but she entered college a sophomore. But beyond that, I always ask her, like, did you feel prepared for the rigor? And of course, there's always an adjustment, but she said, yeah, I was ready to study, to work. I think any student or any family that has the opportunity to take advantage of this, it would be a wise choice.
Any other questions?
A quick shout out to Brian Gamlin and Randy Catero, who handle all of our dual credit numbers, enrollments, transcripts, you name it. So quick shout out to them because it's a big job with that many enrollments every year.
Yeah, so I think just to wrap it up, first of all, thank you for the presentation. I thought this was a great kind of unveiling of some numbers, and just hasn't been done in a long time. Brad and I had talked about this a couple of months ago, and Brad had shared that this was not a presentation that's been done for the board in many years. And so we thought, like, hey, let's bring this to you. This is I think when we talk about return on investment, back to the community and to the taxpayers, I think one of the things that we can highlight and put on a marquee is that your property tax dollars that go to the school district, you literally have the opportunity to recover those funds if your child is thinking about going to college or community college or even certification programs, because we offer that through the Fox Valley Career Center as well. And so there's abundance of opportunities for anybody to really find a path, that whether it's a traditional path or a non-traditional path. One of the things that I'm really proud of about our particular dual credit program, speaking as a parent with a child in a different school district in high school now age, and we're talking about her sophomore year schedule. Don't talk about balance. But, I'm comparing, and it's just amazing to me how much there is here, and, wanting to figure out ways to support that. But, across the state, every community is striving to kind of, if they're not at where we're at, they want to get to where we're at. And if you're in a position where we're at, you want to keep expanding that, right? And so that our kids truly are the ones that are driving their own path and driving their own future. So really good opportunities here. Kudos to our teachers, to our support staff, and to our administration for the programming. That's it.
We have an AP teacher in the audience, too.
Yeah. He's over there. Great job.
Thank
Great
you.
job.
All right, on to action items. Action item 7.1, adopt or amend board policy. Second reading. Tom.
The board has had a chance to review these. I know Raquel and Aaron also covered these last time we discussed these policies. I don't know if there's any questions or if we're ready to move forward.
All right. No questions, I will entertain a motion or to adopt or amend the board policy revisions as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Aaron,
Second.
second by, was that Raquel? Thank you, Raquel. Cindy, please lead us in a roll call vote.
Sliger,
Yes.
Swasicki,
Yes.
Meadows,
Yes.
Arlandu,
Yes.
Garrels,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Gonzalez Thomas,
Yes.
All right, thank you, motion passes. Item 7.2, approval of contract employees through Blazer Works.
Yes, so we are currently in a master contract agreement with BlazerWorks. They've been supplying us with hard-to-fill positions that are, especially the ones that are immediate and in terms of necessity to fill a certain FTE that are open, supporting usually in some of our specialized programs. This would be a similar case. However, this is for a certified position that we've had posted to try and bring in support for one of our programs. And we have not had luck in securing a candidate at this point. Part of that reason could be due to the fact it's a mid-year hire, and it's hard to find certified staff at this point of the school year. You know, we typically find ourselves in a better place once we hit the spring hiring season and look for next year's, employment. So, so that's why that's here in front of you. We have a program that has been growing, even currently through the school year. We've been adding on some students to have, different types of learning needs, and they've fallen into eligibility for a program. We're going to try and make sure we get the support for those teachers in there. And so what you have in front of you is an ask for a $50,000 allowance, which is why it's coming to the board. It exceeds the $25,000 threshold. And it's a contract worker, so they'll be compensated at an hourly rate of $94.50, which is the contract rate. But in total, we're looking to help fill that gap for this remaining semester. And then I know Carrie and the team have been looking through options to fill and staff for next year.
Any questions?
Will this still be posted on our internal website for hiring this year?
For the current semester,
Yes.
is that the answer? Yes? Yes. Yes.
If there are no other questions, I will entertain a motion to approve a contract special education teacher at Hooverwood School. The contract teacher will work from January 28th till May 20th at a cost of approximately $50,000. Motion by?
So moved.
Motion by Katie,
Second.
second by Aaron Kilberg. Cindy, please lead us in a roll call vote.
Arlandu,
Yes.
Garrels,
Yes.
Gonzalez Thomas,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Meadows,
Yes.
Swasicki,
Yes.
Sliger,
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item 7.3, approve renewal of paper cut maintenance and support contract. Dave.
All right, so those of you that don't know what PaperCut is, PaperCut is a software solution we use on all of our copy machines that basically lets you walk up, scan your badge, lets you print. It also lets students print with their Chromebooks. We've also added some mobile functionality for some folks as well, so it basically handles all of our printing. I would usually come here annually to renew this solution. I was able to work a deal this year to save a little money to do a 5-year agreement this time. So this locks in a 5-year price point, no increases for those 5 years, and saves us a little money in the process. So, any questions on that one?
So just a point of clarification, the total amount over the entire 5 years is $24,990.
Correct. Yep.
Per year.
Correct. Yep, we save about $1,000 a year going to the 5-year plan, so.
Any questions on the exciting world of copiers and
Right.
accounting? All right,
You can
I will entertain a motion to approve the renewal of the paper cut maintenance and support agreement for a 5-year term in the total amount of $24,990. So moved by Danielle,
Second.
second by Raquel. Cindy, please lead us in a roll call vote.
Swasicki,
Yes.
Sliger,
Yes.
Meadows,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Gonzalez Thomas,
Yes.
Garrels,
Yes.
Arlandu,
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item 7.4, the authorized purchase of student and staff devices.
So this is another annual purchase that I do. So this I've kind of consolidated together to actually save some money here as well. So those of you that don't know, all of our Chromebooks have a 4-year cycle. So every year when I come here, I'm building 1st, 5th, and 9th grade purchases for that. Generally, our Chromebooks, as far as like keeping up with the trends in the classrooms and things, we try to keep that 4-year cycle just because everything's evolving in speed and usage and everything and abuse on the devices. We have to do maintenance on these things to keep them up to date. We do trickle some of this stuff back into spare pools as we roll out after year 5. We pull them back as spares and then we recycle the older spares just because they're usually 6 years or more older based on usage. And they're usually pretty beat by then. So that's the Chromebook cycle. For staff, we also have laptops for them. We do that on a 3-year cycle just because of some of the demands for the classrooms that they have for projection and all these other things that they're doing on every day. We try to keep these things current for that reason as well. The computer labs at the high school as well, those actually have like specialized software, naming like Adobe products or AutoCAD products, things like that require a lot of performance and things like that. Or specific use case like special monitors in the photo and graphics labs. And we try to maintain those just to keep up with those software updates that come out for those products to make it more real world scenario type stuff. And they're very demanding. So I keep those on that 3-year cycle as well and recycle the rest after that as well. So this basically, this year is the high school. So there's 3 computer labs in this attachment here. You can see we're doing the photo, the graphics lab, and then the video lab is the most demanding. Obviously the most pricey machines we have. Doing a lot of that 4K video editing takes some pretty serious performance. So in total, I didn't write that down, I'm sorry. This is included in the tech budget. I budget for this every year. I try to put a little extra in there because especially this year now they're cranking memory prices up because of AI, so I'm battling that. One of the reasons I consolidated is to get this done quicker to try to avoid some of those increases. We're trying to also avoid any emergency purchases if we have a lab that has something that breaks or something fails. Warranties and things like that come into play, so these also have 3-year warranties on top of this, so it's covering us for these 3 years every time I pull a cycle through. I also throw this through competitive processes on the back end with some of my vendors I use. I always try to hold everyone accountable for their price, and I've tried many different brands, and HP generally pulls through for us every time. So management-wise for my team, it's also a little less involvement as far as managing these devices. HP has some nice tools for my team to keep these things current and maintaining all these hardware chips inside of these devices. So overall, it's the best choice for us to use. Let's see here. Total device counts for student Chromebooks is about 1,300, staff laptops about 200, lab desktops about 90. So in total, that's like 1,590 devices. Grand total of $898,900 for that, and that will put us on cycle for 3 years for the staff and labs and 4 for the Chromebooks. Any questions? Did I cover all of that?
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.
Anyone else have any questions? All right. I will entertain a motion to authorize the purchase of student and staff computing devices for the 2026-27 school year from Xerox in an amount not to exceed $898,900 as a part of the district's scheduled device replacement cycle.
So moved.
So moved by Rob, second by
Me, Raquel, second.
Raquel. Cindy, please lead us in a roll call vote.
Gonzalez Thomas,
Yes.
Arlandu,
Yes.
Swisicki,
Yes.
Garrels,
Yes.
Sliger,
Yes.
Meadows,
Yes.
Kilbert,
Yes.
Motion passes. All right, item 7.5, Mark. Award bids for JB Nelson and Alice Gustafson flooring project.
Good evening. You have seen this before. I brought this up last year. That was the board meeting. We had to reject all bids. Did a little more, I would say, research in flooring, specifically in the gyms. So the next two, so this one and 7.6 go together, but they have to be voted on separately. So what we did is we looked specifically at the gym flooring and used a specific product that really in the end is gonna be better for really everybody, adults and students. It's more, right now it's VCT, so it's just a standard floor tile that you see all over. Not the best to put into gyms, but it's the most economical. VCT is really the cheapest product to use, and it's used majority all over the place. This will be better, it's gonna last longer. It's not only gonna be better for students, it's gonna be better for really after school too, for different clubs. I mean, our gyms are used all the time. So I know I'm combining these, but it's easier to explain if I do. We also went out bidding, and it's a different product that was used. We weren't as specific this time. And in general, so if you combine them both, and we added in the kitchens in both schools too. That was VCT as well. Not, again, not the best product to be used in a kitchen, really definitely not in a kitchen. So in adding that and from last year's price, we're gonna end up saving just over $40,000. Which, considering when I'm usually up here talking, I'm not talking about a savings, usually ever. I'm talking about percentages of like 18%, I think about a month ago I just talked about. So I think overall, we saw much better pricing in the general bid. And then the other, with the gym, it's very specific. We were able to choose the flooring we wanted because we went through what's called Sourcewell, so it's already bid out competitively. So between those two, I feel much better up here this time around talking about this project. This will get done really as soon as school's out. Again, it's some demo you have to worry about and get those demo contractors in there, but it will take most of the summer to do both buildings. So one building each will take about a month to, I would say, to 5 weeks. So the first one, you were just voting on just the hallways and cafeteria at both Gustafson and JB Nelson. And then I'll stop, and then I'll talk more specifically about the next one.
Any questions on the first one?
I know we're not voting on the gym flooring now, but you said the floor for the gyms would be better. Is it like softer, or what makes it more?
Yeah, so there's more padding in it. So the best way to describe it is if you've been in the field house.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It's not the field house flooring. I don't want to say that at all, but it's a version of that. It's more of like a rubberized type floor. It's a jur floor, if you know. I'm looking at Craig because I know Craig knows what a jur floor is. So it's used a lot of like civic centers and things like that. It's really, they have different product lines that basically the thickness, and it is used for elementary gyms.
Because right now, we don't, it's not like a hardwood, like basketball court. They have like tile.
No, it's tile on concrete.
Yeah, it's very hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the only elementary school that we have that has a wood floor is Louise White, and that's been that way for a really long time. I don't know the number of years, but it's been a wood floor and to my knowledge and history, that was done through a basketball program at the time. They needed another gym to use, and it was Louise White that they picked to do it.
So, I know last time there was only one bid, and now there were quite a few. Is it because a different floor was used?
Well, last
or-
time we did have more than one bid. We rejected it because it was just too much. It was way over budget. Yeah, different flooring material helped. We changed the pattern a little bit too, less cuts, not as many cuts, and that obviously drove down the labor as well.
And then I think it was when we had the tour of HC Storm, you had mentioned that you're trying to get consistency with flooring so that it's more easy to replace and repair. So is this,
Yes.
are these two buildings gonna be the same? And
Yes.
that's the idea that
Yep.
at least they would share the same type of flooring?
Yeah. And really, the long-term goal is just to continue to do this, throughout the buildings, because flooring needs to be replaced, but obviously there's, you have to start somewhere, and these are the two schools that definitely need it the most.
Is it something similar to what Storm got, or is it something completely different?
Yeah, so we blended, so Gustafson and JB Nelson had the entryways done 3 years ago now, 3 years ago now. So the entry as you walk in has different flooring, but then as you go, well, right or left, The flooring is just a VCT, so we tried to blend that together. So there's a lot of things you have to look at because you have door frame colors, you have door colors, you have lockers in there, you have, all kinds of things. You have to, blend them, and you don't want to put something in there that's difficult to clean either. So this too will be much easier to clean. You don't have to wax these floors, so you just use a floor scrubber. So, that will help too in savings.
All right, on item 7.5, I will entertain a motion to award the bids for the J.B. Nelson and Al Gustafson flooring project as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Katie, second by Danielle. Thank you. Cindy, please lead us in a roll call vote.
Arlandu,
Yes.
Garros,
Yes.
Gonzalez Thomas,
Yes.
Kilberg,
Yes.
Swisicki,
Yes.
Sliger,
Yes.
Meadows,
Yes. All right, motion passes. Item 7.6, approval of gym flooring purchase and installation. Mark, anything else to add?
Unless you have any other questions about that, like I said, I kind of blended these two together because it's easiest to explain.
All right, hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the purchase and installation of gym floors at Alice Gustafson and JB, is that at both schools still?
Yes.
Okay, I want to make sure I was reading it. At Alice Gustafson and JB Nelson schools as presented.
So moved.
So moved by Raquel, second by,
Second.
was that Rob? Yes, okay. Cindy, please lead us in a roll call vote.
Swisicki,
Yes.
Sliger,
Yes.
Arlandu,
Yes.
Garros,
Yes.
Kilberg,
Yes.
Meadows,
Yes.
Gonzalez Thomas,
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Item 7.7, adopt resolution of intent to implement full-day kindergarten. Tony.
Thank you. As the board, I'm sure, is aware, we've been talking about it for several years, about the implementation of full-day kindergarten. And we are choosing to implement a year earlier than is required. So that would be in the next school year, we would choose to implement. We would otherwise have to implement the following school year. So this has been a key assumption in all of our financial forecasts for the last at least 2, probably 3 years as to what this would cost. One of the requirements of that is that we're asking you to approve tonight is a resolution that you would adopt, that we could then send to the State Board of Education, that they will then count our kindergartners in the evidence-based funding formula as being 1.0 or full-time students. Because right now, even though we offer essentially a form of a full-day program, they're only reportable to the state as 0.5 FTE. They're there for learning under our kindergarten program as a half-day. And because there's a timing element to this, EBF is a myriad of variables that the state has to compute, and every school district is relative to the next. And so they have to have all the data into that formula on the front end so that when they compute what schools receive in terms of funding, that you can't change the variables on the other end. It literally changes the amounts. And so they need to know this ahead of time. And so that's why we're asking you for this now. We have to submit this no later than March 1st, and this is our intent. If we decide that it's not binding, it's simply intent, but we could back out of this technically. It's not a requirement, but for the state to compute this the right way, they need to know that the board is intending to do this. And the course was like, how much more money are we going to get? The reality is, unfortunately, given where we are in the funding formula, nothing. This does help them compute it accurately, but we do not expect that we'll receive any more money. Because as you are aware, our enrollment has been declining for several years. We're in that 4th tier. We're guaranteed the money we received in the prior year. However, even though they will be reporting more students attending, because they'll be, instead of being counted as 0.5 as 1.0, it's not going to be enough to get over that threshold. Not likely to. Any questions?
Any questions? Okay. I will entertain a motion to adopt a resolution of intent to implement full-day kindergarten beginning in the 2026-2027 school years and authorize the superintendent or designee to report this intent to ISBE for evidence-based funding calculation purposes.
So moved.
So moved by Raquel, second by
Second.
Kristen. Cindy, please lead us in a roll call vote.
Meadows,
Yes.
Kilburn,
Yes.
Steiger,
Yes.
Swisicki,
Yes.
Gonzalez Thomas,
Yes.
Arlandu,
Yes.
Garrels,
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Thank you very much. That wraps up our action items. So item 8 is for board discussions. We have 2 items for discussion today. The first one is meeting dates for our May, June data presentations. So as you guys may have seen from Tom's updates, the thought process is instead of spreading these out to multiple special meetings over time, is to just do both the buildings and the district in one presentation on one special meeting date. To not conflate it. So that aligns a little bit about what we've talked in past meetings as boards of trying to say, okay, we're gonna do special meetings for these special things. And then kind of minimize our long hits on our long board meetings as much as we can. So it's gonna move those to a special date. Anybody have any objections to that concept?
Just so I'm making sure I fully understand. So we're gonna do the schools and the central office ones in the same.
It's same day.
Okay.
Not
Yeah,
but a
so we
separate
kinda get-
meeting.
Yeah, right, it'll be its own meeting.
Its own meeting though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it won't be a regularly
Yeah.
scheduled board meeting. It'll be a special meeting.
What did we run on those meeting lengths this last time around? What would you say? Was it 2 hours each?
The buildings went probably like 2.5. Does that sound about right? 2.5, guys? And then I think the district night one, hour and a half, maybe? However, one of the things we can do a better job of is making sure is that we have a little bit more of a streamlined presentation as we come forward. I mean, I think we got better from year 1 to year 2 on it. We can, by the time we come to you at the end of this year, we'll work as a team to consolidate that as if it goes to one night.
Are you thinking, Mr. Orlando, that's too much in one night?
Yeah. No, I know, my point is, are you thinking, or is the idea behind this this provides the presenters some benefit? Or are you thinking?
Well, I
this
think
is
you're
a
gonna hear
benefit
then
to
the
us?
message all in one night is one of the benefits, added values to it. You're hearing what the buildings are doing to finish up the year. And then boom, right there, we're also gonna provide you with the overall picture of the whole district after you just heard what the buildings have all been doing.
As opposed to a month later. Or weeks later, doing the district one.
Well, this meeting can also start earlier than 7.
Yes. Hint, hint, hint.
Yes, exactly.
So just from my perspective, what I liked about having separate meetings was focus, that at least I'll speak for myself. The focus I had for each of those meetings, I felt very in tune with listening and taking in the messages that were given. I worry when we extend past 3-4 hours that, we tend to naturally lose some focus. And I don't want to deprive any of the presenters of our attention to their messages. So that's my concern. If it's 4 hours, I think, especially if we start at 7, maybe if we start earlier, it might be a little bit better, but that's my thought on it.
I share your concern.
So the other thought that went into this, as I understand it, was also to manage the number of meetings we had to do, because at the last one, we had people that weren't able to make it to those days.
Okay.
So this is also a thought process toward, and I'm just putting it out for discussion, to say, okay, if we have one date known early enough, it's a special day, it might be a little easier to manage that, and at least people that are there can hear the consistent message across to all levels. But I share your concern. 3+ hours is a long board meeting, and I also agree that if we do that, in my opinion, we should shoot to start earlier. So that we can shoot to finish in
Can I
time.
share the time for the night, or for one of the meetings was 1 hour and 42 minutes, and the other one was 1 hour and 39 minutes.
Okay.
So it was a little over 3 hours for the 2 meetings.
On top of it, Cindy, thank you.
Data. It wasn't a 3-hour meeting.
So about 3-ish hours.
There's, I agree. I would hope as we get used to giving these presentations and hearing the presentations that we get more comfortable digesting the data. I agree if we do this and it's like a 5-hour meeting or 4-hour meeting, then we should probably look at breaking them up again. But I think I'd be willing to give it a shot to see if we start like at 6 to try to do it in one night, see how it goes.
Yeah.
I have a question too, I don't remember, did we get the administration one prior to the meeting? Do we know,
Like
like
the
their
note,
presentations?
like the presentation?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did,
Yeah.
we didn't get the school ones.
No, because the timing with the schools is as, it's too on top of when the data is kind of coming to us, you know, through the winter assessments. And if you think about coming to the turn of the end of the year, the data windows are gonna be closing, and then they have to turn around immediately and start working with their teams to build out that presentation. So that board book date is already pretty tight for our principals, given that they're also closing out the buildings for the year with their SLTs. So that's a challenge, but if we do it in June, they're all gone for the year as well. So that's why it's a tricky, you know,
I mean,
situation.
my question would be, I think the last day of school is the 20th. That's a lot to put on them to finish out the year and then turn around like less than a week later and do that presentation. I mean, no, they're not waiting to the last minute to put it together, but you're confident that that's not a burden on the buildings?
Yeah, I think we can get it done on the 26th or 28th. So if the meeting was 3 hours long in total from the 2 sessions, does the board feel that that's a doable number?
Yeah, for me, that's a doable number.
Because one of the, just to add to what Craig said, one of the things was the chase on finding a good amicable date too. So that's why we tried to like narrow down the calendar already as we came to you to give you some ideas or options. We worked it out as an admin team to say like, okay, principals and district office teams, we can definitely do the 26th or 28th. Those are open. That's why we're just trying to help you guys with the calendaring of a date.
Yeah, right now I'd be good with either date.
All
I'll
right.
be on vacation for both of those.
Oh, no. Okay.
But I don't want me to be the thing that holds that up.
Okay. All right, anything on that one is,
Excuse me, Mr. President, can I just mention, I just had one administrator come back and say that if we could do it the 26th, for him it'd be better, but I didn't get anything back from anybody else.
that
So
was
that was
concerning?
kind of
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so as we circulate dates, I mean, we don't have to tell them we're available today. So we can, Cindy or Tom will get an email out to just kind of say, okay, just to lock in and make sure everybody's good. So, okay, that work?
So we are gonna use one of those 2 dates then?
Yeah, and one of those 2 dates, and if we can make it work for the 26th, that would, just to try to make it so that we can cover an administrator challenge. They get Katie an electronic copy.
Yes.
Definitely.
I'll read it in Greece.
That's a little rubbing it in, but it's just, it's okay.
I don't believe you.
I don't believe you. Yeah. All right, item 8.2 is a continued or followed up discussion on personal electronic devices. So since the last meeting, Tom shared some survey data that was not quite ready yet for any of the presentations. So that was shared amongst us, and the question before us is one, you know, as the board responsibility is to kind of administer the policies. Is there anything that we feel needs to be referred to the policy committee for further consideration? Or if there's any specific kind of opinions or thoughts that need to be shared to Tom in regards to, you know, next steps, if any exist?
I appreciated the feedback from the BEA and to hear from the teachers. I had kind of gone into this thinking, you know, we have a policy, first impression, it seems to be working, but then that kind of made me think that there's maybe some work to be done there. And I know there's a bill, again, making it through Illinois it's not gonna go away of, banning cell phones. So I was just Googling and I came across, Barrington, I think it was Barrington School District, yeah. So they have the same board policy that we do. But they have a webpage with detailed explanation of how that policy is handled at the elementary school level, the middle school level, the high school level, including, expectations and how they're different at each level. I think they break it down, like, the middle school, they have opportunity to use personal devices at lunchtime sometimes. So they break it down for each level. There's detailed corrective actions listed if kids are caught using their device when they're not supposed to. Frequently asked questions, like if a parent is wondering, well, what if I need to contact my student during school hours? What if I need to contact them after school hours? So there's this very detailed website, which I found really helpful. But like I said, their policy is the same as ours, so there's definitely some procedures that I know that we don't decide on, but I was impressed with how thorough their website was.
Thank you.
I think the other thing too is the smartwatches. We probably have to make sure that the smartwatches are in the policy.
Yeah, the language is just personal electronic devices, so it by default gets included, but
You think it
maybe
should be more
a clear.
explicit?
Well, we could say electronic devices and then parentheses, cell phones, smartwatches, iPads if they can bring iPads, but something like tablets. I think we could spell it out a little bit more, because I don't think people feel like that's a personal electronic device. The timepiece.
It's a lot, right. That's a clear issue, though. That came through very clearly
It did.
at the elementary level, that is a struggle. Yeah.
So you think maybe we should review, the policy committee should review that language to be a little more explicit on what's defined as a device?
I think we just add that example.
That might make sense.
Yeah, I would just encourage to review it so you don't make it over constrained, like say, specifically, like, for example, maybe is the right language, right? So, yeah.
Have to run it by lawyers, but you could probably add some language in there, just a little more clear.
You'll be smart glasses.
Right, that'll be the next thing.
It's already here. Get video messaging between you and your parents.
So I guess what I would say with the board, like the policy committee, to review that policy again, that language, to see if we could be a little more explicit, of course, consulting with our lawyers so we're not too narrow that we exclude something we can't foresee, new technology or something coming.
I don't feel like our policy is what is the issue. I think it's more the enforcement of it at each level. I read a lot of teachers saying like, this is a problem, and I don't know how to solve it. I guess I just always come to, there is no data that suggests that cell phones are good for kids, period, but during the school day. And there's lots of data that suggests that they're not. So I would be of a mind to go more toward like a ban at the high school, the same as we have at the middle school, but I don't know what the consensus would be on that. To me, it looks like more of a procedure thing than a policy thing, but that's just me.
Do you think we're having a problem at the middle school too?
No, I think the middle school doesn't have a problem because they're not allowed and it's real clear and they've worked that out. To me, I think that shows like a success story, and then we see a struggle where we don't have that in place.
I think the issue is where the middle school is they have lockers, whereas the high school, the lockers are really optional. They just carry everything in there.
Nobody uses a locker.
Yeah, you don't use a locker. And I think that's the problem. Like it's, cause middle school, you just put it in your locker. You don't see it. Whereas the high school, it's like, no one uses the lockers, so where are they gonna keep it?
Yeah.
In their car. And then at the middle school, I think, I'm not positive, they can maybe use it at lunchtime. So,
I think they said this the
I don't
first year
think
they
they
can.
can, no.
This is the first like year that this year, like nobody can anymore. They phased it in, if I remember correctly.
There's a VIP day on Friday, so if you're a
Can, like,
VIP.
earn,
Yeah,
Oh.
earn use of your cell phone for lunch on Friday. That's what.
Wow.
How do you become a VIP?
That's an interesting carrot
I
there.
think
Get the
the
dopamine
dean's
hit.
Yeah, right.
good behavior during the week, that table gets to be VIP.
It's amazing. Anyway, okay.
It's like what we did with Nintendo, right? Back in the day.
Yeah. So is there, because our current policy states, from Katie's point, that is teacher discretion effectively about the use of it in the educational environment.
Like, for me, it's the high school where it's the issue, and I guess it is enforcement. I mean, has there been discussion at like the DCC about discussions about how we can get more consistent in implementation?
Actually, we had a robust conversation. You know, part of the questions that we have are, what are the other 72% of our staff thinking? You know, there was a 28% return rate on the survey itself, right? So you have to just wonder, you don't want to assume what are those 72% people thinking, right? We want to dig into that a little bit more. But within the responses we did receive, it was clear, you know, that the high school staff were struggling, and I think if you looked at the comments piece of the survey, it was a really wide range from, we just need to get rid of them, or ban them, or put a hard policy in place, to, like, I feel like I'm fine, but what the challenge is my colleague, you know, that they're coming from or going to in the next class has a very different set of expectations, or to some, there are some who said, like, I think I'm fine, I think I can manage this. So, there's an opportunity to probably look at the procedural aspects at the high school, you know, similar to what some other buildings have done, you know, whether it's through the SLT at BHS, or possibly a discussion between leadership with the BEA leadership reps and administration. I think there's some avenues that could be tackled. I think the idea that the notion that it's a procedural area to address and seek makes sense to me, because it allows you to kind of be nimble to what the needs are, you know, especially with the age groups. You know, you mentioned smartwatches at the elementary level. That's definitely clearly an issue that was being cited, and who the culprits are our parents. Texting, and the kids are expected to kind of like start clicking and respond to their parent. So, you know, that's the idea. And I don't know if some of you have seen some of the messages that our principals at the elementary schools sent out, trying to remind people that, hey, if you want to get a hold of your kid, please call the main office. Don't use these, right? So we at DCC went through a wide range of things. We didn't want to make any presumptions about what we thought the board might want, so we kind of had a great discussion about it, what some ideas could be, but then we wanted to see where the board landed. If the board's landing on maybe not necessarily a policy change, but maybe it's more of a procedural thing, we can take that back, and I can start working with Drew, and we can kind of start calibrating what that might look like, you know, to move forward. But we wanted to make sure we had an understanding of where the board wanted to be with this.
I think that's where I would land right now, because if there's confusion, then we need to get clarity. And also, the survey was pretty small in scope, so there's that whole other majority of people that didn't respond. So if there's a way to capture more of those voices in the process, that would probably be valuable as well, I think.
It was a short turnaround time, so
Yeah.
that's not a bad turnout
I didn't
for
think so
a
either.
short turnaround time, but you are getting limited. I would understand how a ban is really hard, and it's gonna be a lot of work, it's gonna take us time. If we could have the procedural route looked at and worked on, you know, I would love to do that before considering that sort of policy change, personally. I'm not against it whatsoever, because like Katie said, there's so much data out there that really supports kids not thriving during school days with their phones. We have Chromebooks, we have other technology available. But if you are confident that it's something that maybe procedurally we can take care of,
that's great, and like to what Kristen was speaking to, and I've mentioned before, the educational piece to the parents. You know, my son goes to Storm, Mr. Milka's done a wonderful job at kind of reminders, but I think like something like that, where it's, this is what happens, here are the expectations. I think procedurally, that also kind of puts you all in a place of, we have to have across the board, same thing happening, so you're not having some staff members say, this works, this doesn't work, this is what's happening. And then that, I would like to really see that educated to the families on a regular basis, whether it's a website, whatever it is, but right now, I don't know that there's anything that really parents can turn to and have a really clear understanding. And especially when you have kids in different levels. So, yeah, I'm kind of there too.
And if you're looking, you're gonna go see a cell phone policy that says, no, they're not allowed. So then I think that's confusing.
Right.
For a parent to say like, well, then why is my kid telling me that they've got their phone all day? Or I know they have it, they're texting me, or why, you know, our
Yeah.
policy says no.
And I wonder for staff, if it would be easier for a staff member who does not want it to be able to implement things, knowing that it's been educated and
Yeah.
knowing that they can say, hey, no, parent, this is per what we have going in place, this is what we are doing, I don't allow them, and here's why this happened. It wouldn't be perfect, but I'm just saying there's at least some sort of communication.
And to
That's-
know that there's corrective action in place,
Yeah.
like, this is, so they can have a conversation with their kids if they are able to say, if you get caught, this is what happens, if you get caught again, then we move on to this, you know, through the steps of what the consequences are.
Right. So I think for me, like personally, in lieu of a policy change, something is not working, right? It's not working. So if we're not looking to make a policy change, which I understand, then that would be my hope personally. So I'm okay with not making any change beyond like this, the smartwatch, kind of maybe that verbiage
You
being
think
a
that'd be
little.
a good idea?
I think so, but it's really not gonna make a huge impact if we're not spelling things out and making some procedural changes, but I think it would help.
And that might be something to push out for the elementary schools too, just to specifically say, like, we are dealing with some confusion around smartwatches, and just to be clear.
Mr. Mo, like I said, I only have that experience.
Yeah.
He's done an amazing job after, just really clear, like, hey, I'm gonna remind you.
That's considered a device, and, yeah, okay.
And kind of like citing the policy, which was great. That's my feedback.
So what I'm hearing is, one, that the board sees that there seems to be, particularly at the high school level, some concern about implementation and procedures, and then that we feel that a good effort and time for Tom and respective parties would be to evaluate and investigate that more. Whether that means also finding out from the other ones that were either didn't respond, didn't have time to respond, or felt they didn't need to respond, to get a little more breadth of understanding and utilize that through the process of evaluating that. Put it back in the hands of, in a lot of ways, staff and teacher discretion to clarify.
Yeah, and I think I'd want to look at the data again, because the discipline data that's been reported isn't maybe entirely congruent with what is perceived to be the big issue, but our discipline data is not reflective of that. And so we also have to kind of like, you know, from a study standpoint, like understand where the gap is on that. And I think, again, it may come down to procedural differences and maybe needing to shore up the uniformity in how, from one classroom to another, that's being handled with our students. I don't know, you know, those would definitely be things to explore, yeah.
Put it back into the hands of our collaborative processes.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the second part is for our esteemed policy committee to go back and take a look at it from, is there a mechanism to cite some specific examples as a reminder within it to make it clear?
Got it. We'll get a date on the calendar.
Do we want to
Thank you.
set a time for, so we're all have the same expectations about when we might be presented with more information or feedback that adds to?
Do we do it?
I'd like to have an opportunity to talk, not just with my team, but with our BA colleagues as well. Just to, because we're right now in the midst of a scope of different initiatives that we're kind of plugging along through the year right now. So I just want to make sure I gauge what our bandwidth is as a team to give you an accurate timeline to that. And then maybe what I could do is provide that in a weekly update. That, if that satisfies the board, I can share that with an update once I've had time to check in with everybody. Yeah.
Okay, so you'll provide a bit of an update about the
Mhm.
timeline and when you think
Mhm.
there will be capability of focus on it.
Yeah.
Does that work for everybody? Okay. Anything else on item 8.2? All right. Item 9, administration comments. Tom?
All right, so, as we enter a new year, there's a natural opportunity for all of us to reset, as the tradition with the new year, but to reset all of our hopes, our intentions, and our commitments to each other as a school community. Tonight, my message is really simple. Let's make this a great year together, not by chance, but by choice. Let's will it to happen by being good partners to one another across all roles, across all perspectives, and across all BPS community stakeholders. When we are curious and actively listening and working collaboratively, I truly believe that we strengthen the foundation that supports our students here in Batavia. When that partnership is strong, our schools become places where students feel safe and valued, where curiosity is welcomed, questions are encouraged, and learning feels meaningful. Progress comes from a shaped purpose, a steady effort, and the belief that what we do together truly matters. So I'd like to kick off the new year with a lot of gratitude here and say thank you to our board members, our staff, our students, our families, our administrators, and community partners for their leadership, trust, and commitment to the Batavia Public Schools. I'm grateful to move into this new year alongside all of you and making it a great year. That's it.
Thank you. Board comment? I'm not forcing
Is that how we
Kristen
go
to
to you?
first
Is
this
that how
time.
it works?
Seems to be every time.
We never come the other way, do we?
You got, hey!
There we go.
I just wanted to wish everybody a happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day, a little belated. And I want to read my favorite quote by Dr. King. What is needed is a realization that power without love is reckless and abusive, and that love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice, and justice at its best is love correcting everything that stands against love. And I just want to say that I hope power and love can come together in these spaces this year instead of being antithetical to one another, because those two things do not cancel each other out and they have to exist at the same time. So thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, to go
You
after
are-
that,
you are-
to go after that.
Yeah.
You could I don't have anything prepared. I wanted to say to Bob and Joanne, the incoming freshman night was awesome. You guys, there was someone there that had like, this was their seventh time being at a freshman night. I was just like, what? Why? This was my first one. And I did have to call out that Bob mixed up Britney Spears and Taylor Swift. People were like freaking out. It was great. It was great. But you guys did you guys did a really phenomenal job at like bringing together. It's a lot. It's a lot. Okay. I'm like, I'm having a hard time. But you really did a wonderful job pulling everything together. And, you know, my friends and I were talking that just community is hard, even at elementary, but in middle school, it kind of changes a little bit. And if your kids aren't, my daughter's more about like, you know, she's in student council and she got inducted to National Junior Honor Society. And so I don't get a lot of those spaces with parents in her grade. And it was so great to come back and to like be in the same spaces, see these kids who are like, giants now, but they were so excited just running around from table to table, and they're just so excited about what their future holds and the options. And it was just a really cool night. And you know, just speaking of community and these kids, we know we've been getting a lot of emails about girls flag football and the community these young ladies felt together, and the number, you know, I know you can speak to it, Erin, a bit too, because you were part of it, but it's really cool. Just to see what that means to each, like, different groups of kids, and in hearing them, actually, our kids are amazing speakers, and I will always give them so much credit for that, but to write an email so well, and just to speak up for what they desire and what really makes them happy and feel part of a community. It's been really, really, it's really nice to read and just inspiring. Community is really important, especially in hard moments and all of the various moments. So I really appreciate the night that was put together. I appreciate the ability for communities to come together. I'm not going to go into the girls' football much, but I hope that we can make some sort of effort, because we have kids yelling, like, this was an amazing opportunity, amazing community, and I love that so much. So that's, I guess, communities where I'm going to leave it, and I'm just really happy for some of those spaces that we can have that community.
Very good. Yeah, I'm a big supporter of girls fight football, of course. So, yeah, I love to see that, kids speaking out. I'll be short. I just want to thank everyone who helped us get ready for the second semester. It's a lot of work to get that machinery moving again, and especially in this extreme cold and weather. I am also always very cognizant of the men and women that are working so hard to keep our streets and parking lots and walkways clear and safe. I was up at 5 o'clock this morning, and I saw several vehicles out there doing their work. That's pretty thankless work, hard work, and but it's absolutely essential. So thank you to all those people.
I just say welcome back. Let's have a great second half of the year, and yeah, let's just stay warm. Thanks to everyone that's keeping the buildings warm and just keeping everyone safe.
I'm going to echo that. Hopefully everyone got off to a good start for the second semester here, staff, students, administration, teachers. I wanted a couple shout outs. One is had an opportunity to go to the Best Buddies gift wrapping at prior to Christmas. And, you know, it was just a great event, and they saved me a lot of time, so I appreciate it. If you haven't,
You had an alternative
if you haven't
motive, didn't
taken
you?
advantage of it, I highly recommend next year that you consider it. It's, they do a very nice job. So I do want another shout out. I'm pretty excited about the AP and dual credit message that you, Mr. Dietz and Ms. Smith gave this evening. You can't underestimate that financial impact that she shared with us is really big for a lot of kids. So it really does make a difference. So I'm glad we're seeing a rise in the students taking advantage of that program. And then just, you know, over the break you get a chance, especially with the age of my kids, to talk with some of the returning students. And you know, of course there's always some comments, but in general it's just positive to talk with these young people returning to Batavia from their various locations, and they still have a lot of love and respect for this community. They have a lot of love and respect for the education that they received here, and I forgot where it was mentioned, was it you know, benefited. They definitely recognize the benefit that growing up here in Batavia gave them as they moved on to their, as they're going through their next stage in their life. So it was positive to hear that message.
I have a little show and tell. I went to the Best Buddies concert in December. So this was their program. So there's the program on the inside, and then they drew the outside, which is very sweet. It was honestly one of the highlights of the holiday for me. It was heartwarming and just really lovely. So if you ever get the opportunity, I know it's during the day, so it's harder for some people to make it, but it was really wonderful. I also went to the ECC open house, so that was nice. I got to take a look at those spaces. They had one of the classrooms open, and I'm hoping to go to the BSPN open house. So I just want to appreciate everyone that comes and, you know, shares with us what's happening in the school district and all the schools. So thank you.
All right, my only comments are thank you for everybody that's been kind of writing the emails on what's important to them, in particular, as was mentioned before, the students. I really appreciate that as well. And then for the time and deliberation that this board goes through and everything that they do, on a slightly anecdotal, I find it fun, like, my son was one of those, both of them were that had the kind of, went in as credits, so I got the same conversation with my son in like his junior, like his sophomore year, was like, I'm a junior now, right, same kind of thing. Then university went, yeah, you're matriculated, bing, added extra charges on top of everything, because he's now in his degree program, so.
I mean, I'll say, all right, one last comment, but I will say, like, my daughter now is enjoying her college experience so much, she's sort of like, oh geez, I'm gonna be done in a year and a half. You better slow down a little bit here, so, you know, she's almost exploring ways where she could have that fourth year, so.
Yeah, no, yeah.
That will be a conversation.
Neither of mine managed to get out early.
Yes.
And my oldest one is graduating in June. Law school, so it's been a long time, you know. So thank you to everybody for all the time and effort it takes to pull these presentations together, to not only educate us, but anybody that happens to be watching or listening or anything else. And then, you know, the only other thing I would say is, and it kind of hit me a little bit when one of our student ambassadors mentioned it's like their last semester, and to hold your little ones close while you have them while you can. And for them to enjoy, but not forget that they're still in school for the next 3 months. So, thank you, everybody, for the time. That concludes our regular meeting. We will be coming back, but we have no other action items at the end of this. So, we're going to be adjourning to a closed session. So, I will, the board is going to go into closed session. We'll not have any action items. As I said before, you are welcome to stay if you like. But if you do decide to leave, we want to thank you for coming out this evening. The time is 8:46, and I will entertain a motion to move to a closed session as allowed under the Open Meetings Act for the purposes of exceptions 5 ILCS 120/2C5 and 1. So moved by Raquel, second by Katie. Cindy, please lead us in a roll call vote.
Arlando,
Yes.
Murals,
Yes.
Gonzalez Thomas,
Yes.
Swasicki,
Yes.
Sliger,
Yes.
Meadows,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, thanks, folks. Yeah, let's head in there.